as well with IG Live. What's really good? Welcome back to another segment of the Opinionated Ones, brought to you by the Sanchez Show. As always, I'm your host Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. Got my brother Vernon Brown Lee with me, the number one defense attorney in the country, man. Vern,
Yeah,
what's good?
I
What's good
like
with you, bro?
so. I like to think so. Definitely.
How's everything going with you?
I can't complain. It's a little cold, man. It's chilly.
I hear that. Hey, man, I hope you and your family had a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
We did not get together last week, but obviously we're back together this week to close out the year strong. Will Gordon will be joining us shortly. Shout out to all the supporters, man. I see people in here was commenting 2 hours ago, man. It was almost like we was raffling off Jordans or something. People was coming through early.
Yeah.
And I see Will Gordon's in the building. Let's get Will in here.
Hey, he said that'd be nice. Oh, it is 9 o'clock and he's here. Oh man,
9 on the dot. Y'all can't fuck with me this week. It's 9 on the damn dot.
This how you end out the year, man. This how you end out the year strong right here.
I end out punctual, you know what I'm saying?
This how
I
you
end out the year punctual, you know.
Listen,
What it do, baby?
Will, was good, bro. Shout out to the live last week on Friday. Appreciate you holding it down, man. I can't
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But you held it down.
I had to represent for the fellas, you know. Let the people know what was going on. You know what it is, what it do, baby.
Listen, this is how we're gonna do it tonight, fellas. Hold on, really quickly, Will, because I want to get into it. So we're going live on Instagram. This is the first time we've actually been live on Instagram, while also
on
Facebook and YouTube. But Instagram does have some restrictions. They only allowing us to be live for an hour consecutive while we're streaming everywhere else. So we got to get to it. As always, salute, fellas.
Oh, wait. No, I ain't got my clink yet.
So go ahead, get it.
That's the thing. Like, I gotta have. I'm even gonna be on time. I'm gonna be late. You know what I'm saying? I'm on time without the clink. Let me go grab my clink real quick.
Go ahead, do your thing.
Go ahead, give it the counselor if y'all. But I gotta. But you know, I gotta always say, what it do, baby?
Go ahead, get the clink so we can get to it.
I'm gonna get it.
We're gonna get to it. Vern, while we wait for that, quick thoughts on Thursday Night Football. The Browns have clinched their playoff spot. The Jet season, I think we knew it was kind of over for a while. Yeah. What are your immediate takeaways of the Cleveland Browns after Thursday night?
I want to see them play the Ravens. Remember the first time they played the Ravens? Well, when the Ravens beat them, that was like a late scratch for Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Beat them the other time, right? So I want to see now. I mean, Joe Flacco versus Ravens. Joe Flacco MVP. I've been teasing the Baltimore supporters that Joe Flacco will retire as a Brown, but we'll see how that goes. But right now, I mean, to be honest with you, Joe Flacco look good, but in the playoffs, he throws way too many interceptions. He's not. They're not going. I don't think they're going to win a playoff game.
I mean, I don't think they will either. They're probably not going to be favored in any playoff matchup, unless they're playing an inexperienced team like the Jaguars or maybe like the Colts or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't see them being favored against anybody else. It's a good story for them, and I mean, it leads to a lot of other questions I'm sure we're going to get into. But I think the immediate takeaway is that this defense is special. I think it's a really good defense. I think they have potential to be one of those really high-level defenses that can advance you in the playoffs. But without Chubb, Amari Cooper, now you're on your fourth different quarterback. I mean, there's just too many hurdles, I think, offensively for them to be a real threat come playoff time. It's just a good story, I think, right now.
Yeah, and really, this is Douglas, GM of the Jets. He should have been fired, but now, if you're a Jets fan, you're like, this guy was sitting on the bench after Aaron Rodgers went down in week 1, and no one thought to call him. You saying that Joe Flacco wouldn't be worth 3 or 4 more games we could have won? Yes, he definitely could have won a few more games that they just could not score points in. Like, even at that Miami game, they possibly could have won if they had some competent quarterback play, right? So, yeah.
I'll double down on that thinking as well, because Joe Flacco was with the Jets last year. So they had the first they had a first-hand look at Joe Flacco and what he could do in that locker room last year.
Right. And then Aaron Rodgers go there. You had 10, you had Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle. Like, if Zach Wilson was your guy, you never would have went to Aaron Rodgers. I didn't understand if you have a team like that, you got to go all in and try to get the best possible quarterback you could. You should have won if you didn't do that. You should have went out to the Commanders and said, "Look, we'll give you anything you want for Jacoby Brissett." Right?
Well,
but
there was several competent backups that you could have gone after Jacoby Brissett. You could have kept Mike White. He was a backup last year for you. You could have kept Joe Flacco. You could have went after Gardner Minshew. There were several quality backup quarterbacks that you could have brought in and said, "Hey, in case of."
Right.
we have somebody who can keep us afloat. We're gonna get Will back in here in a minute. So we gotta, like I said, keep it moving because I know IG is gonna have that strict restrictions as to when that live will end off. So since we're talking football, we're gonna get into some NBA stuff. But since we're talking football, we got to talk about the biggest story over the last 24 hours: this Russell Wilson Denver Broncos drama that's going on. Will, let me bring you back in before we start to answer this question. Let's get to the clink clink.
Clink clink, you know what it is. Cheers, my brother.
Cheers. Merry Christmas to all. Hope everyone has a happy and safe New Year. All right, let's get to it. Russell Wilson, Denver Broncos. Will Gordon, you're going to kick this one off. The news broke. He's being benched. Mind you, they have not officially been eliminated from playoff contention. They're still in the mix. They were one of the hottest teams over the last 2 months to get themselves back into playoff contention. What are your thoughts on what's taking place out there in Denver?
It's on me. It's scared money. Basically, is what's going on right now. You got scared money. It's all about the guarantees in Russell's contract in case he was to get injured. If he was to get hurt and couldn't pass his physical next year, the team is still on the hook for what, 30-some million? Or in excess of that. It's all about, they know they're not going nowhere this year. And they've really been honest with themselves and making a business decision. You know what I mean? It's like they're not, it's like, because you know we talk hoops on here too. It's like they're not standing there going to take the charge. You know what I'm saying? they're not going to take that charge and get on that poster. They moving out the way. They making everything safe, and they trying to guarantee that if they gotta pay Russ that money, that at least he's going to be on the field. If he was to have a freak injury or something like that right now in the last two games that they're probably going to not, they're not really going to matter for them in the grand scheme of things, then, go ahead and take care of the future. And it can help you get a better draft pick if you lose out, because who's behind him? Who's going to be starting?
Jarrett Stidham.
So they're gonna lose out. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of behind the decision personally. And if you want to try to move on from Russ, that's cool because it's a new regime or whatever. This regime then I mean the Sean Payton era was not. They didn't pick Russ up. You know what I'm saying? The era behind him did. So if you can find somebody that's going to take on that contract, that's even a more of a plus. I've heard rumors of teams like Pittsburgh and the Counselors team, Washington, possibly being interested. What you think about that, Counselor?
I like the move because with all contracts, Russell Wilson had an option and the ability to negotiate that contract. And the Denver Broncos are doing what they need to do to protect themselves. It's no way the Broncos are going to come back and have him as a quarterback next year. I mean, even though they can, it's no way that's going to happen. But it's a situation it's a relationship that is strained and it's not working. So why not just try to cut ties right now, see what you got in Jarrett Stidham, and then just move forward with one of the most disastrous trades and signs in NFL history.
That's the problem, though. I think is when you say, "See what you have in Jarrett Stidham." You don't have anything in him. Like
Yeah.
I don't need to see anything from him.
You probably don't, but I mean, what else is there to do?
So this is my issue with it. I agree with the business side of it. I completely understand why Denver does it. As Will highlighted, if you run the risk of him getting injured in these last two games, $37 million, I believe, gets guaranteed next year on your books as an injury insurance, along with anything else that was guaranteed to him moving forward, I think. So they had to make that move to basically cover their own ass moving forward as they try to build out this roster, because we know the team isn't, as currently constructed, is not good enough to compete for a Super Bowl. So they got to make that choice. But why not make this choice sooner? If you really wanted to lose games, why allow Russ and this team to get going? And Vern, you talked about it before, about after the 70-point loss to 70 points they gave up to Miami, the defense got better, the offense started rolling, they started winning games. Why win games and then wait till the last two games of the season? They're 7-8. Even if they lose out these last two games at 7-10, you're not picking in the top 10. You're not getting a franchise quarterback. You're going to be picking someone in the middle of the first round for another impact guy, as opposed to a quarterback, which is what Sean Payton wants.
Well, Eric, that's because the same reason why they signed Russell Wilson to an extension without him playing one game. They're a dysfunctional franchise.
Right. So to me, Sean Payton has sent the wrong message. Because if I'm telling you week in, week out, prepare to win, prepare to compete, right? We are building towards something greater. And if I've been in that locker room and I watched Russ lead us back from what looked like was going to be a bottom 5 team to now respectability, and now you're benching them, then why the hell am I putting in work this week at practice?
No, I agree. The whole thing is a dysfunctional mess. But I think right now, when you're talking about December to March, right, you got 2 months and some change, right? An injury at 2 months and some change might not get the physical pass, but an injury, even a month or two ago, you run that risk. But they were on a winning streak. So I think it was like, well, as soon as that winning streak is over, we're going to bench Russell Wilson. Whenever that was, I think that's what they said.
Right, but according to his comments today, they approached him after the Week 8 game against Kansas City.
Yeah.
And asked him then to restructure, to be willing to restructure his contract. If not, he would be benched.
Right.
At that moment, when you approached him, if he said no, then you were supposed to have the hard stance of, all right, then we're going to bench you now.
Right. You couldn't do it right then, though.
Why not? At that point in the season, after Week 8, I believe they were 3-5. That was the perfect opportunity to bench him.
You can't have him sitting on the bench that long, making all that money. That would have been easy.
But again, so now you sent the wrong message to the locker room.
Yeah, I know. It's a lose situation.
I think you do it then. I think you do it the earlier, the better. Because at least it made sense at that point. They were losing games. They looked like a bad team. So it was easy to say, hey, it ain't working out. We're turning the page to somebody else. Especially after some of the performances that Russ had early in the season when he had multiple interceptions. So you could turn it then. But let me throw a stat at y'all in comparison, right? 2 different quarterbacks. You got one quarterback who's thrown for just over 3,000 yards, has 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and a 50.6 QBR. He's getting benched. There's another quarterback with 3,500 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 56.9 QBR. He's being touted as the comeback player of the year. That's Baker Mayfield. Him and Baker are having the exact same season. The only difference is Denver's punting on the last 2 games, and the Buccaneers are trying to win to get into the playoffs.
The Buccaneers are playing in the NFC South. I mean,
even still, Denver has a shot for the playoffs.
They don't have a realistic shot. I mean, come on.
But you still play out the games.
No,
until you see what happens.
I agree with you. What the Broncos are doing, in my opinion, is unprecedented, right? It's giving up on a season in which the season is not over, right? It's different when you're like the Commanders or you're the Jets and you're eliminated, but they're not, which was like the move didn't make sense at all. Even from a business decision, it doesn't make sense because you're right. The other players in the locker room are like, what the hell are we doing? Like, what's the direction? What was the purpose of the season? If we're going to give up at this point in time now. Like I said, it happened.
Right. Realistically, the Broncos have the game against the Chargers this week, and they got the Raiders next week. They are in position to get into the playoffs if they win out. Now, granted, they do need a little bit of help. They're going to need either the Colts or the Texans to lose at least one game.
Yeah. They're going to beat us.
But I don't know. We're gonna get to that pick in a second.
They're gonna beat us.
But let's say the scenario plays out where if Denver beats the Chargers this week and gets to 8-8, and the Raiders beat the Colts. Now you've got 3 teams at 8-8 battling for the last playoff spot. You are in the mix.
I know. Look, it makes no sense. There is no logic to explain. The only thing I can think about is, you in NFL, every game matters. You just can't punt on a game when you're still in the race. You just never know. You get in the playoffs, and you might play a team that's, I guess, on paper better than you, but they might get a key injury in the first quarter. You're like, oh shit, maybe we can win this game now, right? And it's like what Sean Payton is doing. I don't know if they're gonna be able to recover, because if you're a player this year, how can you respect him going forward next year and being in that?
And that's my other point as well. If I'm a guy who has been busting my ass every week in practice for this team, and now you're telling me you're benching the quarterback who gives me the best shot to win. No matter how you feel about Russ, in that room, in that locker room, he's the best quarterback for you to win.
Like Javonte Williams came back from a serious injury, busting his ass all season.
Right.
And you're like, hold on, this whole season was for nothing.
Right.
Sutton, this whole season was for nothing.
Right. You got guys coming, like you said, guys coming back from injury who are now looking around like, wait, we giving the keys to Jarrett Stidham?
You gotta say these hits. You don't get like a contract, especially as a running back.
That's a fact. Will, you mentioned that game, because I know we're gonna pick games today, of course. That's what we do here. The opinionated ones on Friday night. We pick games. You're telling me you got Denver winning that game?
Let me go to the call sheet right here real quick.
Stidham versus Stick.
Denver. Where is it at? Yeah, I do have Denver winning the game.
Vern, who you got in that one?
Listen though. Justin Herbert's out.
Cool.
Keenan Allen is out.
Cool.
Josh Palmer is out.
Cool.
Like, what are we we going to a gunfight with a knife? You know what I'm saying? Like, Easton Stick is garbage.
Slow down.
And then what you doing at receiver?
He's not garbage.
He's hot dog. You're right. He's hot dog.
He's not. I text Vern last week. I actually think some of the things that Kellen Moore did on offense with him made sense. Move in the pocket, getting him on the run, not allowing him to take big hits in the pocket and become a stationary quarterback. Now, is he Justin Herbert? No. But all the things I saw from him last week showed me he's at least competent enough to get a couple drives in. And you're playing against a Denver team that I think is going to quit on their coach. I'm taking the 3.5 points. I like the Chargers this week.
Here you go with the points. Yo, I watched him a lot closer than you. I'm telling you.
Me and Vern were texting during the game last week.
Well, that's fine. Y'all can do that, but that don't make it right. Easton Stick is not. He's regular as hell. He's like, hey Vern, who's that dude Allen y'all used to have?
Who?
A backup just a couple years ago.
Not a backup, man.
He was a backup named Allen just a couple years ago. I forget his first name.
It wasn't Cal, was it?
Probably Kyle Allen.
Allen. Yeah. He's basically the same dude, man. Like, come on, man. And no Keenan, no Josh Palmer. Who is he throwing the ball to? Quentin Johnston that can't get open ever?
Who he was throwing the ball to last week when y'all were moving up and down the field?
The tight end. What's his name? I can't. He's a wrong too. Like I'm just ready to just start from scratch with the Chargers, man. But you see, I'm still out here, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going to rep, but
you're ready to start from scratch.
It's time to start from scratch, man. With a whole new regime.
That ain't quit yet. A lot of guys in that Charger locker room are still playing for spots, and they still playing to prove themselves. Vern, who you like in that game right now? I see it as Denver is favored by 3.5. That's the last line I saw.
You know, they don't have no film on Jarrett Stidham. He might be terrible, but you know when backup quarterbacks have their first game. Is this Jarrett Stidham's first start?
No, he started games with the Patriots.
I'm going with the Broncos.
Oh, with the Broncos, yeah, but he's only been with the Broncos this year. He wasn't with them last
That's
year.
because he never started for them, so there's not too much film out. And when I seen quarterbacks this year, when they have their first initial start, I think they've all won, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Even though they end up being not that great. So based on that, I'm gonna take the Broncos, but I think the Chargers cover if it's 3.5.
Yeah, I got the 3.5. I'm taking them.
I would take the
Yeah.
Chargers 3.5 before I take the Broncos 3.5. But to win outright, I would take the Broncos.
And any new viewers to sit in the building today, we appreciate y'all. But just know, Eric and Vern, they pick against the spread. I just pick straight up win-loss.
Absolutely. Ron, who was the first question of the night, he said, "What's good?" So on Christmas, who won the ratings, the NBA or the NFL? Was this the first time ever both had games on Christmas? It's not the first time they both had games on Christmas, because obviously there's been prior years where Christmas has fallen on a Sunday and they've had games together. But in terms of this year, the NFL clearly won the ratings battle. I believe the ratings for the Chiefs game alone were 5 times greater than any NBA game that day.
Yeah, that's not even a question, bro. It was like I don't know the exact number, but I did. It was something like the whole NBA slot got like 5 or 6 million, and one NFL game got triple that. Just one of them. You know what I'm saying? It's like they did like 50 million to 6 or something crazy. I mean, it was ridiculous. The NFL is king. Like we can't ignore that. It's a lot of people that don't watch basketball, don't know basketball, don't care about basketball. But everybody watches football. Even if you're not watching the game, it's on your TV. If you're gonna put something on your TV, it's gonna be the football game over the fucking Knicks versus the Heat or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be the football game.
So so the NFL wiped them, but let's put a little bit of context into it a little bit, right? The NFL only has 17 games a year, so each game we know is more important, right? Not only that, we're at the tail end of the NFL season when you have your more important, or I want to say more, well, I guess they are more important games now, and then you have potential matchups that could garner the viewership that they got, right? You're talking about Giants, Eagles. That's always big, right? I mean, those two teams, right? You had against 49ers, you had 2 number 1 seeds facing each other. You had Raiders, Chiefs, where you have Mahomes. Even though the Chiefs are down, you have the superstar of the league. So you got those 3 games playing. You got playoff implications. You got the Christmas Day games, was like, okay, I can watch LeBron James play, tomorrow or the next day. And the playoffs aren't coming up until April, and you had key players out, like Jimmy Butler wasn't playing, he wasn't playing this show. They only got 1.3 million viewers, right? So they crushed them. Don't get me wrong, but I think it was kind of expecting. The NBA knows, okay, the next day we're going to get millions of viewers, and then for the remaining of the season. But I think in a snapshot, I think the NBA has a larger problem, which everyone knows, and I've been talking about for quite some time, is the stars really drive the league and the viewership. And when they don't play, and they haven't been playing a lot lately for the past few years, the ratings go to the tank. Like the Heat Sixers was 1.3 million. It's not even going to tell me if Embiid and Butler's playing, that number's not to 3 million. So if I'm a sponsor, or if I'm trying to, get advertisement space, why would I want to go to the NBA when if a player is not playing, their ratings drop by almost 50%, right? So I think that's the issue that they're going to have going down the road.
No, I think that your original point, though, is right on, Vern. NBA still has 5 more months before the games become important, right? Playoff basketball doesn't start until April, May. So you got plenty of time, whereas the NFL right now, these are the final few weeks of the regular season. For some teams, these are playoff implicating matchups. And so you got to do something now. And so you're going to have more eyes on those games, whereas the NBA, the season is still very young. We're not even at the All-Star break yet. So there are going to be a lot of people who feel like we have plenty of time to tune into some of these matchups, especially when you got teams that, for example, you got Knicks Bucks. That's their fourth time playing already this year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's granted. It sounds great. You got Milwaukee, you got Giannis against the Knicks, but they've played a couple times. They just played a few weeks ago in the in-season tournament. So it isn't like this isn't a matchup we haven't seen.
Right.
They played in the what?
In the in-season tournament. That's what they played. That's what it was. But even before that, they had already played 2 times in the regular season already. So there are certain matchups where you're just like, we watched those 2 teams play already. It's not that important. Kyrie wants to know thoughts on the huge impact Ja Morant has had since returning to Memphis. Shit, they haven't lost yet. Vern, what you think?
MVP of the league.
Ooh.
Slow the fuck down.
Not right now. But somebody did.
That was very aggressive. That's very aggressive.
Somebody posed a question.
After a week or 2?
He can't be the MVP of the league because he hasn't played enough games. Remember, Vern, there are stipulations to that.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, what is value? Okay, I ain't saying he's the best player in the league, but what I'm saying is that the Grizzlies were not that great when he wasn't playing with them. He's playing with them, and they have So what does that look like to you, Eric? If we were trash and you came in and just immediately, boom, what does that say? I mean, you can have dynamite, but if you don't got the gasoline, you don't got the match, it don't matter, right? I mean, to me, that's what an MVP is. They come in, they add value. He's just so happy to add the most value right now. That's all I'm saying. So y'all can argue with the numbers all you want. I'm just stating the facts.
Will, go ahead, Will.
Hold up. What facts are you stating? It's like, hold up.
What was the Grizzlies' record before Ja Morant came onto the team? They were what? Bottom of
You tell me.
Let's look back. They were probably I think they were like 6 and something. What they won 4 straight with Ja?
They were outside of the playoff race for sure. I think they were like number 11 or 12 in the Western Conference.
I think they were like 4 and 19, something like that.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let me ask you this, counselor.
Yeah.
Let me cross-examine you, counselor.
No, don't cross.
Do you think he's the most valuable player in the entire league right now?
To his team, I mean, when I get MVP, yeah. All I'm saying
No,
is,
not to his team. To the league.
Right now,
we talking about. You said NBA MVP was him, not right Memphis Grizzlies.
I had to
NBA MVP.
Because without him, they are trash. With him, they are. They haven't lost. So
I mean, it's a lot of teams that you could take their star player off and say that they will be trash, and then they will be good with them.
But who?
So.
Well, I mean, the Grizzlies were terrible. Do we have to go back to how bad?
And they had a good week and a half.
Imagine the Washington Wizards.
But hold on.
Imagine the Washington Wizards being who they are, and then they add one player, and then they're going on a 6-game winning streak.
So and then what happens if Memphis loses 4 out of their next 5? So then he's not the MVP?
I don't think that's happening.
So you're telling me
you're projecting them to get to the Western Conference Finals, then basically what you're saying.
What I'm saying,
you're saying they're 30 games into the season.
Yeah.
They're 10 and 20. So you're basically saying they're gonna get so hot the rest of the year that they're gonna win about 35 games the rest of the year.
Well, this is what I know. They will be in the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs.
Okay.
They're not making them. I'm telling you right now, they're not making the playoffs.
Okay, if you say so.
And if they don't make the playoffs, there's no way Ja gets a MVP. That's crazy to me. That you think he can get the MVP.
Grizzlies will make the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs.
Okay. All right.
How many games did he miss? 35.
He missed 25 games.
25. So he can't.
25.
They're 4-1 since he came back. He didn't play in the game against the Nuggets. They got smoked by the Nuggets.
Yeah. Exactly.
So is he even eligible to get the MVP with the game stipulation?
No, he's not going to be able to play enough games to win MVP. He's not going to qualify. This is we talked about this when the suspension came down. This is why I said it was done the way it was done, strategically in terms of number of games.
Yeah.
Because by him missing postseason awards and not being able to be on an all NBA team, it's going to affect his next contract.
next contract gonna be crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, his next it's going to affect his next contract because he technically on the surface we're going to say, oh, he should have been all NBA, but he won't be because he missed the X amount of games. But this is why I say they're not going to make the playoffs. This is the current top 6 in the West right now. Tell me which team. Now, mind you, they're
He only got top 10.
Even all right. So let's go 7, 8, 9, 10. Which one of these teams they gonna get over? Because 7, 8, 9, 10 are Pelicans, Lakers, maybe Houston, and then Phoenix.
Remember before the season, I told you I don't think the Lakers are gonna make the playoffs.
Lakers will make the playoffs. The league is not having the Lakers miss the playoffs. We know that.
I told you that.
The league is not gonna. Lakers are gonna make the playoffs.
Okay.
The league will make sure that down the stretch things will run in their favor. We know that.
The Grizzlies will beat them, and if they have like in the playing game. So I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned.
Maybe in a playing game, but the Lakers will be there.
I'm telling you now, you can stamp it 9:30, December 29th, the Grizzlies will make the playoffs.
So, like I said, John Morant's not playing every game the rest of this year. We know that. We already see that. He just missed another game yesterday against Denver. So there's going to be moments where he's going to have to sit out. This is a team that's already missing other guys like Steven Adams. They're going to have injuries throughout the year. They dug themselves too deep of a hole. They're not going to make the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying they can't make it because of talent. They're just not. They're too deep in the hole right now. They're 10 games under the Grizzlies.
Okay.
They're 10 games under 500, 30 games into the season. They're pretty much, hold on. In 2 weeks, they're already going to be at the halfway point of the season. At that point, they're probably still going to be 10 games under 500. They're not going to, so I'm saying they would have to get so hot the rest of this year. They would have to win about 35 games the rest of this year.
There's nothing you can say that's going to change. That's going to change.
That's fine. The facts are the facts. You know that, counselor. We deal in facts.
It's an opinion. It's an opinion. You're saying not gonna get hot, and you wouldn't say that the Detroit Pistons wouldn't get this cold. So I mean, I guess you know.
I would have. I would never talk about the Detroit Pistons. It's not worth talking about. It's not worth talking about.
Yo, that's crazy. The Pistons are crazy.
The Detroit Pistons. What are we even talking about?
They crazy.
George wants to know what's wrong with the Lakers since the in-season joint. Well, this for you.
What's wrong with her?
With the Lakers since the in-season joint. AD been showing up, so it's not on him. Okay, Will, what's your thoughts on the Lakers?
You know my thoughts on the damn Lakers. They ain't shit, man. LeBron is going to continue to not let people shine in the roles that they should shine in, and just keep accumulating numbers for himself. That's what he's been doing his whole career, people. And y'all want to keep calling him great and shit. Y'all want to skip him past Michael and skip him past Kobe. And I'm not even skipping him past Bird, man. Stop putting this dude on this damn pedestal when he is all about himself, trying to make himself look good, trying to make himself look like this ultimate teammate, this ultimate distributor when you won't play fucking point guard and let everybody else do their roles. I'm tired of it.
Hey, Eric.
When we gonna talk about the in-season tournament?
No, we're not talking about the in-season tournament.
So that's another freaking church league championship.
I don't want you to get upset.
And then they hung a banner for it. They hung a banner for that church league tournament they just had. And then they just hung a banner for that church league tournament they had in the bubble. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of it, man. I'm done with the Lakers. As long as he's not, and then he's trying to make a claim to be one of the greatest Lakers of all time. You're not even in the greatest Lakers starting five, bro. I'm not even putting you in the greatest Lakers starting five. Stop playing with me. I'm done. I'm so over this LeBron talk, man. Just retire, bro. Get out of here. I'm done with you.
Okay. Next. Proposing Will Gordon can never talk about the Lakers or LeBron James again. Okay.
I don't even want to. I don't want to. So I'm good with that. I stamped that.
Okay, but the Lakers was wrong with them. I mean, they're an old team.
That's
and their rotations, their coaching. But like I said, LeBron James, for the Lakers to be successful, LeBron James has to be 2016 LeBron James.
No, Hey, let me cut you off real quick, Vern, and then I'm gonna let you get right back into it. Every team he's gone to, they blame the coaching. All right, go ahead.
So because he's not 2016 LeBron James, they don't have enough pieces to sustain long periods of consistent success. This is why I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs beginning of the season. And this is why they're not going to do anything if they so happen to hang on and make the playoffs. It's just their team is not built for it. LeBron James is not that guy no more. I'd say they should either trade him or figure out a way to get more pieces of the puzzle to more supportive bodies, more supportive pieces. Like they're just an average team. The only reason that they get any kind of shining kind of love because of LeBron James's name, but not necessarily because of his consistent play.
I mean,
that's the thing, though.
Listen, hold on. The short answer is this, though, right? They're an old team. It is what it is. They're an old team. They're gonna have inconsistencies throughout the season. They were barely a 500 team before the in-season tournament. They got hot for 2 games because that's all they really had to win in the in-season tournament. And then that was it. Let's not prioritize the in-season tournament as if they had to go through like a 6-game March Madness type format. They had to win 2 games. Right? It wasn't a March Madness format where you had to win 6 games over the course of 3 weeks. They had to win 2 games. They won the 2 games, and then they went back to being who they were, a 500 team. They're 17-15 right now. That's what's going to be most of the season unless they make a trade. I think that's the simplest way to put that. George,
they hung a banner for that bitch.
That shit is corny, though. I'm not going to front. That shit is super corny. That's
I think the NBA made them do it so the NBA could say, hey, this season has merit or has value. I don't think they want
some kind of value to it.
Nah.
They hung a damn banner.
They did a whole pregame ceremony, Vern. Like it wasn't like
the NBA wanted them to do it. They wanted to.
Oh, come on. I would have said, listen, if the league would have been like, no, I want y'all to hang a banner. I'm like, all right, so if we hang a banner, we're not doing a ceremony. We're just gonna put it up there and that's it. No. We're not gonna do a whole ceremony and stop everything, stop business, just to celebrate the in-season tournament banner going on.
This is the NBA is playing the long game here. Because if they just write it off, right? Next year, no, who cares about the in-season tournament? What they're trying to do is make this thing matter. So next year, when the damn thing turns on, people will pay attention and watch it, and people are not like, well. So,
but what if a team like a small market team had won it? Like, what if the Timberwolves had won it?
What if the Pacers? What if the Pacers had won it?
Do you think that's going to be something that they're trying to extend years on end? Remember when the Timberwolves won the championship? Ain't nobody ever gonna check for that.
Nah, you don't hang
nobody.
You don't hang a banner.
I don't think they wanted to. It was stupid, but I don't think they wanted to. I think it was the NBA.
But since it was the Lakers, the Lakers and LeBron.
Yeah.
Then they made a big to do about it, man. It's just corny as shit to me. You can never ever make the in-season tournament make any sense to me or give it any validity as to how the NBA season goes from there on out, because it doesn't. It has nothing to do with anything. It's a cash grab and it's a corny gimmick, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
I just don't think you hang the banner for it. If you wanted to recognize that they won it, fine, but you don't do that. They treated it like if it was a ring ceremony.
Yeah, they was out there like they won the chip. Come on, man. Come on.
But
we all hooped on different levels, right? Like y'all all played basketball or whatever.
That's a fact.
This is equivalent because our seasons was only like 16 games on the youth level. Yeah. This is like after 4 games, you had the best record out of the first 4 games, and you out here acting like you won the whole church league.
Well, I tell you, this is the equivalent of Duke hanging the Maui Invitational. Like we went to Maui.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
You don't do that. You don't, like I said, all right, cool. It was an early season tournament. You won. Cool.
That's a good point.
But you don't now start to recognize it and go on a celebration. Yeah. So like, are they gonna hold a parade for this during All-Star break?
Yeah, that's wild to me.
Listen, George wants to know, Vern, we got your answer already on this one, but George wants to know who's your MVP as of today. Vern already said Ja Morant. I know it's early. It's amazing. Curry, Braun, KD, not in the top 10. I mean, top 10 of what, George? You got to specify because I think Curry, I think all three of those guys are still top 10 players
I'll
right
give
now.
you another answer though.
I don't even know the MVP right now.
Anthony
Joker.
Edwards. I like Anthony Edwards up there. I mean, of course, Jokic. I mean,
Yeah, I'd probably go Joker right now. Anthony
I
Edwards,
would go Joker.
absolutely not.
And Anthony Edwards would be in the convo, but I would still pick
Toronto,
Joker.
Embiid. I mean, to me, it's just too early, right? It's just
Yeah, it's way too early.
Yeah,
it's just
Like I said,
hard.
we 30. We
yeah,
30
we got
minutes in.
the NBA really gets going around Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Like Christmas is the kickoff to me for the NBA, but you really start to you know see what's what and who's who around Valentine's Day.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander might be the MVP right now, but that we'll save that conversation for
I'm gonna
later.
log off. I'm gonna log off.
We'll save that
Oh
conversation.
yeah,
for
well
later.
yeah, we got other episodes to fill in.
We got other. This might be my favorite question of the night because I really wrote some notes down when I saw this comment right here. Derek Thompson wants to know: Penny Hardaway was named a Naismith Hall of Fame candidate for class of 2024. I love Penny, but did he do enough? Seems like anyone can get in now. Vern, I'm sorry, Will, kick this one off.
Man, don't even let
No.
answer me.
No, he did not. And I loved his game. I loved his sneakers. But no, you did not do enough. Like at Memphis, okay, because it's not. A lot of people forget it's not the NBA Hall of Fame; it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. So it's what you've done, in basketball.
It's still not enough.
And exactly, that's what I'm saying. So when I look at him in Memphis, he wasn't there long enough, and he didn't do enough. He was just a freak. You know what I'm saying? That we didn't. Okay, let me go ahead and go and say pause, because there's gonna be a lot of pauses right now. But he was like his Magic. He was one of the first long point guards. You know what I'm saying? Like long, lengthy, could do what he wanted to do. He was like 6'8". You know what I'm saying? Wasn't he about 6'8"?
6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, 6'6". Yeah, 6'6".
Okay.
Him and
But he
Sean
was-
Livingston.
Yeah,
him and
Sean
Sean
Livingston,
Livingston kind of had
But
the
he
same
was like
body type.
lanky and could get to his spots and distribute to whoever he wanted to. And he did it at a very high level for about 3 years. 3-4
So
years.
that's why I had to go back and look. But go ahead.
About 3-4 years. He was a beast. But injuries took a toll on him. And he didn't reach the heights that we thought he could reach. And had he done that, he might, like, we'd be like Magic and Penny, who was better. Like he was that, he had the potential to reach that level. But he didn't because of the knees.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we can like all of us, we were the same, kind of in the same age range. We saw Penny play,
That's a fact.
and we saw what he could do, but none of us saw the mountaintop for him. You know what I'm saying? We saw him going up, but then he fell off that cliff with those injuries, and it's unfortunate. And we've seen a lot of players do that. We've seen a lot of guys do that. So is he a Hall of Famer? He could have been, but based off what we saw, I have to say no. I can't put you in the Hall of Fame based off what I think you could have been. I gotta put it in off what I saw.
Let Vern go. Go ahead, Vern.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely not. Even when you just talk to someone casual, Penny Hardaway. Oh, great. No one ever mentions Penny as the greatest of anything. He never comes up in any conversation. The greatest of it, not even close. This is why the NBA Hall of Fame is disrespected. I mean, the Basketball Hall of Fame is disrespected. One, like Will said, people don't know that it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, not the NBA Hall of Fame. But there's really no gatekeeping. It's like if you just stay around long enough in the game or in the sport, they're going to find a way to come pick you out at some point in time, right? It's like I was like, okay, maybe as a coach, no, player, no, like now in the NBA on it. So I'm just confused how you even got to a finalist. Like
there is no.
Yeah, so that's just my take on it.
Yeah, there is no pathway for Penny Hardaway to be in the Hall of Fame. He didn't do enough as a pro. He didn't do enough on the international level in Olympics and Summer Games. And then I went back and looked at the numbers because to Will's point, because I really thought about it too. I'm like, Penny's peak might have been 4 years, maybe 5 years with Orlando before the knees kind of gave way. Penny Hardaway, this is the gist of it all. 14 years played in the league. He was a 4-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA player, obviously Rookie of the Year. For his career, he averaged 15, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Solid career, obviously. We know the injuries robbed him a little bit because his early Orlando years, he was averaging over 20 a game with close to 9 assists a game. But then the injury slowed him down. We know all that. But if Penny Hardaway gets in, then, and this is a debate, shout out to the group chat for the love of the game, because this was a debate we've had in there. If Penny Hardaway gets in the Hall of Fame, then Derrick Rose is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Derrick Rose, as I've said before, if Derrick Rose does not get in the Hall of Fame, Derrick Rose would be the first MVP to never make the Hall. Derrick Rose, for his 14 years in the league, with injuries included, and we know how much he slowed down, has, as of right now for his career, has averaged 17 and a half, 3 rebounds, 5 assists.
At one point in time was crazy. Like,
right now, the youngest league MVP ever, 3-time All-Star, first-team All-NBA. So if Penny Hardaway makes it in, and I love Penny because I always say Penny's probably the biggest what-if in the NBA. But if Penny makes it, Derrick Rose should go in on the first ballot, no questions asked.
Yeah, no.
You know what, though? I don't think either one of them should make it.
I don't think either one of them will.
I think Eric is just saying if this is your standard.
Oh, okay, yeah. If this is the bar, then he should get in.
Yeah. I don't think either one of them get in because that's why whenever the Derrick Rose conversation comes up, I always highlight the point that if Derrick Rose does not get in, he would be the first league MVP to never make the Hall of Fame. So it's unprecedented territory, and I wonder how much that will play in the factor when they vote on Derrick Rose, because it will be that, well, this guy was a league MVP. But I don't think he should get in. I agree with you, Will. I don't think Rose's resume is strong enough to get in, and I damn sure don't think Penny Hardaway's resume is strong enough to get in.
This is kind of a curveball, but do you think if guys were to go straight from high school to the NBA, that should kind of move the meter as far as them getting into the league? Because, like, say Derrick Rose, for instance, didn't go to Kentucky. He went to Kentucky, right?
He was at Memphis. He was
Memphis.
Memphis. Okay.
1 year with Calipari at Memphis. Yeah.
I know it was Calipari. Okay.
Yeah.
So if he went straight from high school to the NBA, do you think that would boost his credentials to get to the Hall? Do you think that would be more on his side? You know what I'm saying? Then
it would only be 1 year.
He didn't. I don't think so.
No. Yeah, I was just wondering. I mean, I'm not trying to make a case for either side. I was just wondering.
I don't know if it would have made much difference for Derrick Rose because remember he only played 1 year at Memphis, so he came into the league when he was 19 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
how long did Penny play at?
I think Penny played
Memphis
2 years. I think he played 2 years at Memphis.
Okay.
But Derrick Rose's peak was much greater than
Derrick Rose. The peak of Derrick Rose. I mean,
he was like Russell Westbrook. With more supporting cast.
Like
a lot of people forget about he had a lot of nice. Like he didn't have like outstanding role players, but he had role players that fit his style of play.
They had quality guys.
And they fit his style of play. You know what I'm saying?
I think the
Yeah,
biggest
yeah,
thing
that
with
was a good team.
Derrick Rose was more of a pure point guard, where Russ was just an athlete who they kind of let play point. Because remember, early on, Russ struggled as the point guard because that's not what his natural role was. Even at college at UCLA, Darren Collison was the point guard. Russ was playing more off ball. So
Yeah.
he went to OKC and had to like develop the point guard skills. Derrick Rose came in as a point guard. He played his whole life as a point guard. So he knew how to facilitate for everybody else, how to get everybody else involved. But the special thing about Derrick Rose was he played with a certain physicality and athleticism that we had never seen before.
On people.
Yeah.
That's
Like-
the thing. I think all three of us will agree that we've never seen athleticism at the point guard position like Derrick Rose and like Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, those two in the class, but Derrick Rose is just dog. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, Derrick Rose, Pete.
Yo,
Derrick Rose was something.
you got, but
Hold on.
don't sleep on Russell's.
No,
Yo, go look at Russell's mixtape
no, but let's
and try not to make your face not
Oh,
ugly because it's so much nastiness on that thing, man.
listen, Derrick Rose. Remember, Kobe left Adidas. Derrick Rose, when he signed that big Adidas shoe contract, I remember people was like, "Look, I want to get these shoes," and the Adidas brand was riding on Derrick Rose. And I remember that he got that injury. People was like, "Damn, people not gonna buy Adidas no more because the injury was so bad." But right before that injury, I thought Derrick Rose was gonna take Adidas to like the next level because it was like really the first really big shoe deal Adidas got with a marquee player really since Kobe. And everybody was like, yo, the shoes were tight, they were light. They were, Derrick Rose was like doing things from the point guard position that were just insane. Because remember, at that point in time, I think we're still probably in that transition phase between the point guards really becoming the more dominant focus. He was just, bro, it was just like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, that's really what you was thinking. Like, how was he just dominating from that position? People, I mean, it was crazy. There was a point in time where Derrick Rose was undeniably, in my opinion, the best player in the league.
I wouldn't say undeniably.
No,
I wouldn't say
You out of your mind. You
he was
get
not
a little too
undeniably.
excited with that one.
Crazy.
Like I was with you till you got to that. I was with you till you got to the end.
Will said you had me at the box office ready to pay, and then you said
His MVP year,
He
I'm
was
not saying
never the best player in the league.
period. I'm talking about that season.
His MVP year, he was still in the league with Kobe Bryant. He was never better than Kobe Bryant ever.
we have to be realistic. His MVP year, for as great as Derrick Rose was at that time, was more about people being upset with Braun going to Miami.
What year was that?
2010, 2011?
No, that was
Braun's first year in Miami.
You own one.
Braun's first year in Miami, everyone was all for Braun because of the decision.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I'm about to say I might think Dirk was better than D Rose that year.
Right,
if we talking about that season.
Yeah. We talking about Kobe who had just won back-to-back chips.
Yeah, we talking about Kobe, man. Like, yo, he was good. He was good, but you talking about the best player in the league?
That season he was special.
You were
man.
born one.
I don't know.
That season he was special, Eric.
Bro, you just said undeniably.
I understand we're talking about players and we're talking about Kobe as a player versus
You talking about him like he Hulk Hogan out this motherfucker.
we're talking about that season was very special for Derrick Rose. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh no.
That season,
You said undeniably. You said undeniably.
Yeah, that's the only reason I was with you, bro. I was with you till you got to the end, and then you kind of went off the cliff.
That season,
You went Thelma and Louise off that motherfucker.
That was crazy.
Nah, Derrick Rose, those years was,
which was like the way he was doing from the point guard position at that point in time was really
Ooh,
trendy.
he wasn't better than Kobe. He wasn't better than Dirk. He wasn't better than
no. That's what I'm saying.
He wasn't better than
You weren't better than none of them dudes,
And
man.
truth be told,
I got a question. Did that happen number one seed that year?
Truth be told, and I know Will is gonna agree with you, he wasn't better than Carmelo at that time either.
Oh,
hell no.
Get out of here.
Carmelo, hey, don't get me started on Melo, man.
Talk to me
Don't
about
get me started on Melo.
it's not high on my list ever.
I'm kind of mad at Melo though right now.
2010.
Have you seen this shit?
The what?
I'm mad at Melo right now. Have you seen he got a fucking podcast out now?
Yeah, with homie for
It's him and
Mero.
him and
Isn't it the dude Mero, right?
Mero.
Yeah,
Is his name Mero or something?
yeah. They
Yo.
got a podcast out.
Nero.
But
And you know why I'm mad? Because it's good. It's good. But they got the reach we ain't got. But we better. You know what I'm saying? We more organic. We better. But we just ain't got the reach to the celebrities and shit that they be hollering at. But it's good. It's too many fucking shows out here right now, man.
It's all right. We gonna figure it out. You know,
but we rock harder than all of them joints, man.
Pause. You got excited there for a second. Pause.
Hey, I had to hit the rewind in my mind just now. I was like, oh, I just said we rock harder.
Yo.
Shout
out
hey, ladies, if any ladies watching, that's what I was.
Yeah.
It was on that vibe. It went on the like I'm not cuddling up with none of these niggas. So
nah, hold on. Shout out to the supporters, everybody in the comment section. Shout out to Gary Blankenship. He's in the building tonight.
Oh, my man Gary in this joint. What up, Gary?
In the joint. Let's get to the picks. It is week
I got
17. We're nearing the end, fellas. Unfortunately, we only got 2 more weeks of a full slate of NFL games before the playoffs begin. Let's start with tomorrow's game. 2 playoff-bound teams. Dallas hosting the Lions. Dallas is favored by 5.5. Vern, give me your pick. Let's get through these quick, too. Let's go through them quick.
Yeah, Dallas hosting the Lions, man. Dallas is at home. I'm gonna go Lions gonna cover.
It sounds like you over there eat some greens or something. He was like,
That's
like you still eat leftovers from Christmas? He's like, damn.
I got Lions.
I got them boys. Straight up. You know, I pick straight up. I got them boys.
I got them boys as well at home. This is the type of game Dallas does win. 5.5, I think.
5.5?
Yeah, I think they win this one. Detroit's defense isn't that good as well. As much as I like Detroit early in the season, I really don't like it.
It's down to 4.5 now, by the way.
I like it even more at 4.5, and I might even work it down to 3 by kickoff tomorrow, and just to give myself a little bit of cushion there. Pause. So I like.
But you got to buy the points though. You got to buy that point though, don't you?
Yeah, but I buy the point. I buy the 1.5. If it's at 4.5, it makes it easy. I buy the 1.5 and get it down to 3. So I like Dallas.
Look at me knowing the jargon, even though I don't bet that
shit. Another good game. Let's go over to Sunday, New Year's Eve. Baltimore hosting the Dolphins. Baltimore's favored by 3. Last year they played a classic. Remember, that was the Tyreek game when 2 of them went off in the fourth quarter. I believe they scored 28 points in the fourth quarter last year to beat the Ravens and come back. Will, let me know what you like here. Lamar's looking like the MVP of the league. I don't even say early season.
I'm going B-more.
No Jalen Waddle. I'm taking the Ravens to cover.
We're in agreement. I like Baltimore as well at home. I think also this is a little bit of a trap game. I know it's very late in the season, but the Dolphins have to look over their shoulder because they have that Week 18 matchup against Buffalo that is going to determine the division. So I would not.
They said,
I don't think that's a trap game against a top.
This game don't really matter.
That's not a trap game.
Well, the reason I'm saying trap game is to Vern's point because it's a game that doesn't. Miami still has to play Buffalo for the division next week. So it's one of them where I
got you. Okay.
They kind of get caught looking ahead, knowing that that's the game that's going to determine the division anyway.
So okay.
I like.
I still got to be more though.
I do too. I got
crab cakes
as well.
I think they're gonna have some nice crab cakes in their belly, and they're gonna pull it off.
Speaking of Buffalo's at home against Bailey Zappi and the Patriots. We might be seeing the end of the Bill Belichick era in New England. Buffalo is favored by 13. Vern, what do you like?
New England's favored by 14 at my last look. Patriots will cover this spread.
Will?
Straight up, Patriots losing. Like I just don't see. I just don't see it. The Bills are way too talented. Josh Allen's a monster, and Bill Belichick does not have his fastball. I'm going Bills.
I like the Bills to win, but I do expect the Patriots to cover. I can see this being a backdoor cover as well, where Buffalo jumps out quick. Patriots put up some points late that don't matter, and before you know it, they end up losing by 10 as opposed to 13. So I like the Patriots to cover, Bills to win. Game with big time playoff implications. The Colts hosting the Raiders, who have gotten super hot right now under Antonio Pierce. Colts, last time I saw was 3.5. Vern, let me know if you see it different though. I like. You got it the same?
Mm-hmm.
I like the Colts to win this game. I think Vegas got their emotional win last week against the Chiefs. I think they have a little bit of a letdown, so I got the Colts.
Yeah, I got the Colts covering. This game really should be, in my opinion, I think the Colts should really be at 4.5. But I think they're not because people got to remember, they didn't complete a pass after the first quarter last week. And they beat the Chiefs. They are the Chiefs, but they've been struggling, right? So I think you get some overinflation on the Raiders. So I would take the Colts and the points for sure.
Right. They scored the 2 defensive touchdowns. That's really how they won last week.
Yeah, no completion since the first quarter. That's crazy.
Will, what you think?
I'm going oppo on both of y'all. I think the Raiders win this game.
Okay.
I really believe in what Antonio Pierce is bringing to that locker room, and the belief and the will to win. And I don't think the Colts are strong enough to go against what he's really preaching. There's nothing about the Colts that's inspiring to me. So I'm going Raiders.
That's fair. I'll say this. If the Raiders win this week and they find a way to get into the playoffs with Antonio Pierce, I hope he gets the job because we saw the same scenario. Yeah. We saw the same scenario play out a couple years ago. Remember when the Raiders changed their head coach? The interim coach came in, got them into the playoffs, and then he didn't get the job. And if it happens again, that's something I think the league should look into. Because
but you know what? The thing that I don't want to see is say they finish out with a winning record under his regime, and then he not get the job, and then he go have to try to get a job somewhere else. Because when he got that, this is what I didn't like when he did this. When he got that Raiders job and he started fucking bleeding out his chest about how he was a Raider and he grew up a Raider and believed in the Raiders and all that. Like, well, bro, they might not believe in you, and you're making yourself. First of all, we already behind the 8 ball trying to get jobs, right? And then when you try to dedicate yourself to this team because they gave you an opportunity because another dude got fired, it's not like you were their choice, okay? You were feeling it, and then you out here dedicating your life to them. So when you go forward, if it don't work out for this team, other teams are going to look at it like, well, are you a lifelong Raider, or are you willing to leave all that baggage behind and be on this level, on this team, or you know what I'm saying? You kind of screwed yourself. Like you, it's basic. Like I like Antonio Pierce, okay? Like when he played for Washington when I was a fan for them. He played for the Giants. A lot of the Giants players say that he was one of the smartest football minds that they've ever been around. But you can't be out here tap dancing for Massa. You know what I'm saying? So when you come out here talking about, oh, I'm a Raider for life and da da da. Well, why? Because you never played for them. You played for multiple franchises. Like don't. It's not necessary to come out here and kiss Master's ass. You know what I'm saying? And now you've done that. And say they want to go in a different direction, no matter what your wins or losses are. Maybe they want to go in a different direction. So now you got to act like you now you got to tap dance on another team where the tap dancing was never necessary. All you had to do was go off the strength of your football knowledge and what you bring to the table. You ain't never had a tap dance, but now say they let you go,
I mean, listen,
Mr. Raider for life. And so say they let you go, and you got an opportunity close to that division. So they now you've given them the opportunity to question that, to be like,
but
okay, are you a born Raider
but
like
listen,
you were
I'm gonna say
saying,
this though. Hold on, Will, hold
or
on.
not?
I don't know his motives behind the speech he made, and maybe that's how he truly felt. Maybe it was one of the things that he used it as a motivational tactic for the other guys in that locker room to show how committed he was to trying to rebuild something there. Nonetheless, Antonio Pierce has been around the league long enough to know, like you said, to angle himself and understand that whatever I put out there, that's kind of the way it's going to be received. So if I put out there that I'm a Raider for life and all these things, maybe I want the Raiders to know how committed I am to being with this franchise long term, whether they give me the job long term or not. Also, I don't know this to be fact, but I think the Raiders were the first team that gave him like some sort of coaching job. So maybe that's why he feels so strongly about it as well. It's very possible that he had. Hold on, it's very possible that he had interviewed for other jobs around the league and didn't get anything, and the Raiders would have wanted to give him his first shot. So that's probably why he feels so passionate about his commitment to that organization.
He was linebackers coach. That's the job they gave him. He was linebackers
Yeah,
coach.
but it's still the first team to give you the shot, though.
But see, this is where I'm trying to get to. He screwed himself by linking himself to the Raiders. And I'll tell you where it's similar, that he probably should have went the same route as Dan Campbell. So he goes to the Lions, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not talking about I'm a Lion for life or that bullshit. He was talking about the way he coaches football and the way he goes about the game. Remember, we all made fun of him.
Correct.
We biting kneecaps and all that shit. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about Lions football. It was about the way he coaches football. You see what I'm saying? Where he's talking about Raiders football and not talking about the way he goes about the game. You see this? You see what I'm trying to say?
No,
it's
there's
like
a difference.
Don't put yourself on the franchise like the franchise made you. You know what I'm saying? Go against your own ilk. And now as we all look back at Dan Campbell, the Lions just won their first division championship ever.
No,
right?
That's a fact. Let's get to the rest of the picks. Let's go through them. Vern.
My bad. Yeah,
No,
I just got on them.
Vern, we got the Falcons at the Bears. Bears favored by 3. What do you like here?
I see Bears 2.5, so I'm taking the 2.5.
Okay. Will, what you like in that game?
I got Chicago.
I think Chicago wins. I got Atlanta covering though. I think I think these are fairly evenly matched teams. So the 3 is more generous just because Chicago's the home team. But I think they're evenly matched. So I'm gonna take Atlanta to cover the 3, Bears to win. Carolina at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is favored by 6. Will, what do you like here?
I got Carol. I got that's my upset pick of the week. I got Carolina in a sleeper. I don't see a lot of points being scored, but Jacksonville's been a disappointment to me, and they're not playing for anything really at the end of the day. I mean,
division. It's a
when I say they're not playing for anything, I don't think they see themselves as going anywhere. I just think the NFL is weird, and I think this is a spot where Carolina can win this football game.
Fair.
Trevor Lawrence is out. So it's
Yeah, that too. That's a big factor.
I don't care. Jacksonville minus 3.5.
You still got Jacksonville?
Bryce Young is terrible. Jacksonville 3.5.
NFL is weird, man.
I think Carolina's wins this year have only been at home. They haven't won a road game all year. I can double check that as well. Jacksonville, I think, also still has a lot to play for because they would like to win this division and get into the playoffs. Right now, with a 3-way tie, they do control their own path into the playoffs. So I think they win this week. I think they find a way to win. I think their defense will win this game just because, as Vern mentioned, not only is Bryce Young bad, that offensive line is really bad as well. So I can see Jacksonville's defense dominating this game.
But the caveat is wait till this gets to 2.5. It's going to keep going down. It's not going to go up.
The line will continue to shift as it gets closer to kickoff.
We get to 2.5. That's when you pull the trigger.
Texans minus 4.5 against Tennessee. From what I'm reading, CJ Stroud is expected to be back. That's why that line is sitting at 4.5. Vern, what do you think?
I hate that line at 4.5, man. I hate the line at 4.5, to be honest with you. Texans would win outright, but the Titans will cover 4.5. I would get this to either 3.5 or let it get to 5.5 before I were to put anything on it, though.
Okay. Will?
Texans all day. And I'm so glad that CJ Stroud is back. Like, I'm gonna take this moment right now to, like, nobody cares about your fantasy team unless it's your team. I finally made it to the fucking championship. And this is with I carried two quarterbacks, right? Justin Herbert and CJ Stroud. Both get hurt going into the playoffs. So I'm like, oh, now I was number one all year. Now I'm fucked. But then bum ass Taylor Heineke came through for me last week. And the running back from the Jets, Breece Hall. Yeah, they boosted me to the finals, to the championship. And now I'm doing all kind of rosaries and crucifixes and whatever to make sure the CJ Stroud starts this weekend. So I'm going with Houston for sure. If he's healthy, because he practiced in full. So if he's healthy, I think, and he's fresh, because like that concussion stuff, a lot of it it's like more precautionary, I think, especially when you're a young quarterback that you're trying to develop. He's been out for 2 or 3 weeks already. So I think he's going to come back strong, and I think Houston's going to take care of business.
Yeah, I like Houston as well, except unless there's some lingering effects from the concussion or something else we don't know about, I expect them to get back to it. Granted, he is going to be missing one of his receivers, but I think they'll still be fine. I like them in that game. We got Rams at Giants. Rams are favored by 5.5. Tyrod Taylor is going to be starting this game. I like the Giants to cover the 5.5. Tyrod Taylor has actually been pretty respectable as the quarterback of the Giants, and he's got the offense rolling. Now the offense, if you look at the way the offense is played with Tyrod, it's looked much better than when DeVito or Daniel Jones was playing quarterback. So I think they keep it close. Rams win, Giants cover. Will, let me know.
I don't really like I'm a Tyrod Taylor fan. As a Chargers fan, like, y'all know that was the birth of Justin Herbert. You know what I'm saying?
We know that.
Like, Tyrod was the starter week 1, and then pre-game, the team doctor that's no longer employed by the Chargers stuck him in his ribs and punctured his lung, and then we had to get the football to Justin, and it was a wrap from there. I like Tyrod, but I really don't think he has enough against this Rams team. Jared Goff is a professional quarterback, and people disrespect him, and I don't even know why.
Who?
Like I don't get it.
Who?
God.
Who?
What?
Who did you say?
Who's the quarterback you talking about?
The Rams?
Yeah.
I mean Stafford. Yeah, I'm
Fuck me up for a
Stafford.
second. I'm
That's
like,
what I
hold on,
meant.
what game we talking?
That's what I meant. My bad. Matthew Stafford. He's a come on. Don't act like I don't know games in
I
football,
know.
bro.
We fucking with
I
you.
was
We
just,
fucking with you.
I'm on one tonight.
I don't know. I think
But yeah, come on, counselor. But yeah, Stafford, this dude puts up numbers everywhere he goes. If you look at his receivers that he's played with, he gives them numbers. Like he's fed a lot of families. You know what I'm saying? Like he lets people eat. And when you look at the Giants, they're just so depleted. Like what do you expect anything from them? Like you expect anything from Tyrod?
They're
No.
gonna keep it close.
They're gonna keep it close.
Yeah.
How? Tell me how they're gonna keep it close. Saquon?
Yeah, they're gonna keep it close. That's what they're gonna do. I'm not saying they're gonna beat the Rams. I expect the Rams to win. They're gonna keep it close. It's gonna be a cold weather game. The Rams are built for warm weather and to play on a nice turf. This is gonna be kind of a sloppy game. It's been raining in New York for like 3 straight days now. So it's gonna be one of them cloudy type, rainy type days. The Rams will have
So the turf is gonna be a slow turf too.
I think not only a slow turf, I just think that the elements themselves aren't going to really help out what the Rams want to do. So, do I expect the Rams to win? Yes, absolutely. But expecting a team to win doesn't mean that the other team can't keep it close and competitive. I think the Giants keep it close and cover, but the Rams win.
I see it being like a 27-13 game.
Okay.
Rams. That's what I'm.
Vern, what you got?
Oh yeah, same thing. It's gonna be a 4-point game.
Yeah, I think they hang up. I think there's another game that is going to be closer than the spread states. It's taking place in Philly. Cardinals getting 12 points at Philly. Vern, I'm gonna let you go. I like the Cards to cover the 12. I like the Eagles to win because I think the Eagles desperately need a good performance as we head into the playoffs. But I think 12 points is a lot, especially when late in the game we know Kyler Murray is going to start running around and start creating things.
I agree. It's already down 11.5. I thought it was gonna go up to 12.5, so I missed that number.
What's the line?
Cover.
12.
Yeah.
Or 11.5. 11.5.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful.
I like the Cardinals in that as well.
12 points. I got Philly. I mean, I'm not gonna go deep on that, but that's disrespectful. Damn. I got Philly.
Can we get to the lock of the week? I think we all know what it is.
I got my 401k.
Hold on.
I got my joint.
Hold on. I think we all got the same 401k. I think we all called in and got the money transferred over. Or got the check cut to transfer the money in.
Oh man.
It's a game taking place in DC.
My offshore accounts.
Hey, look. Oh my God. He said
everything is shipped over.
I said all of it. Take it
my
all.
401k, my offshore accounts.
I said
all,
take it
my
all.
damn.
All the money was transferred over. The 49ers,
my spades pocket.
Every dollar.
The 49ers are favored by 12.5 points.
Everything.
In
it's
DC.
14 now.
I still don't think that's enough points. I still don't think that's enough points.
It got to get like 30.
We're all in agreement. Let me just circle this game now because we all got it as the 401k.
Look, man.
Hell yeah.
All the money is going over
there. Yo, if we lose this game, it's like this breaks the fucking podcast.
Auto draft payments. Because I don't know when sometimes the things are coming
up. No, this ain't hey, everybody listening. Wow. This ain't about a number. This is just straight up win-loss, right? Is that how we do the 401k?
No, for you. For me and Vern, we
For
we're
me?
going by the
Oh,
points.
okay.
On the money, bro. I'm saying, Eric. I'm saying, take it all. Just put it back in 4 hours. Take it. This
Take
Eric.
it. I agree.
You see who we have starting at the defensive back position? Do you see who we have?
Listen, put all the money
We
in
have
on it.
undrafted rookies. 2 of them.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Forbes, who couldn't even get on the field at all, even the first round pick. We have Quan Martin, who's probably the worst draft pick that we had in this draft class, and that says a lot. I have Deebo Samuel as my anytime touchdown scorer. I might need to add, definitely in Kittle. So Kittle and Deebo are definitely going to score. You know what? You know what's so crazy?
Oh, you got a parlay going?
They might suit me up. Put me as,
Hey, Vern, how many legs you got to this parlay?
this one. I'm just doing just an anytime touchdown score just for that game. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, okay.
Ayuk and McCaffrey. I'm gonna do a Deebo, McCaffrey, and Ayuk. I'm not sure which ones. I'm gonna pick 4. I'm gonna do 3 of them.
If you're feeling spicy, if you want, I mean, really the 2 locks of this weekend, you could take Georgia tomorrow against Florida State and 49ers on Sunday against the Commanders and see what it looks like together. Because I don't think either one of them teams lose.
Yeah, I might.
See, this is where I wouldn't put no money on that Washington game though. It's because the 49ers could get up early and not have to do nothing else.
No, we are
You know what
not.
I'm saying?
They go maybe early. Will at halftime this game is going to be 31-3 if we're lucky.
I mean, on the worst case scenario, it could be 14-0 and they sit on the ball.
No,
I mean, but it's your money. You got it. You got it, counselor. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, spend it how you want it.
hates the Commanders. Can't stand him. Fired is that he's going to, and they're gonna put up 50. They're gonna put up 50. You know that, right? You know
Damn.
they're going to put up 50. We have no secondary whatsoever, no pass rush whatsoever. The worst linebackers in the league. Brock Purdy is going to say, "This is why I'm the MVP."
No, he lost the MVP last week.
Yeah,
This past weekend, he lost that.
Hold on,
that's Lamar's now.
Is this Brock Purdy yelling, "I'm him" at the cameras?
Exactly.
Touchdown.
Oh no!
I think
After his 3rd touchdown pass, I'm him.
Doesn't Brock Van Buren still have the touchdown record? I mean, Tua might have it for touchdown per game because of the season, but Brock Van Buren
Will, I want to run down a couple numbers to you, and you let me know. Since this is a month worth of football,
all right.
so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. The Commanders have given up 31 points to the Giants, 45 points to the Cowboys, 45 points to the Dolphins, 28 points to the Rams, 30 points to the Jets. And now you got the 49ers coming into town after they took that loss last week. The 49ers might hang a 50 spot on the Commanders.
I told you 50. I wasn't exaggerating. It will be 50 points.
They might hang
that's what I'm saying. You talking about they gonna cover?
No, nobody said they're gonna cover. You said that.
No, I thought Vern said they was gonna cover.
No, you were the one who said I wouldn't put money on it because they could get up big and then the Commanders score late.
Oh, yeah.
Nah,
I still believe in that.
Wait, which one is it? Which one is it? Listen, all I know is
I mean, for real. So say they go up. Say it's 20-0 at the half.
It would not be that low. It will not be that low. Will not be that low.
Y'all starting Howard this week, right?
Well, I don't know. Brissett is on the injury report. Who knows?
Brissett, yeah, he's questionable. Look, if y'all had any interest in winning football games this year, you would have been starting Brissett from the beginning of the season. I said that. I was on record for saying that. And then y'all won 2 games. Y'all came out and won 2 games out the gate, and then your dicks was hard off of
the Commanders have given up.
What's his name? And he ain't done shit
hold
since.
on. The Commanders have given up 35 points at least 6 times this year. They've given up at least 30 points 8 times this year. Mm-hmm. The 49ers is about to hang a 50-piece nugget on them.
I think it's gonna be like 50
piece. No, with no sauce, no sweet and sour, no barbecue. They're gonna forget your sauce. It's just gonna be dry nuggets on your ass.
Yes.
Over under.
1.5.
Man, I think the over on that. They
Let me
can
see.
get that by themselves.
What you got the over under at?
I got it at 49.5.
Yeah, that means they're not expecting the Commanders to score more than 10 points.
Yo, they are going
Vegas is really thinking this is going to be somewhere in the range of 40 to 10.
But Vegas is wrong. It's going to be 50 something. The 49ers are getting 50. Guaranteed. Brock Purdy thrown for 6 touchdowns. Yeah.
In one game?
I have 3 touchdowns. Somebody's going to break a record, okay?
Wait, what are you talking about? Brock Purdy, 6 touchdowns. What is this? What? How are you breaking this down? Is this one football game you talking about, or 2?
He's talking about Brock Purdy having 4 touchdowns in the first half, and then throwing 2 in the third quarter, and then sitting in the fourth.
Like he just turned into Dan Marino all of a sudden.
No, but it's the Commanders' defense. It doesn't matter about him turning into Dan Marino. It's the Commanders' defense.
Yeah. What?
I mean, I can't act like the Commanders' defense is like world beaters, but at the same time, Brock Purdy's not either.
He's not, but he don't got to be. With all them weapons, with that coaching, this is also the Kyle Shanahan revenge game, because he would love nothing more than to kick the Commanders while they're down.
Tackle. I saw our left tackle out.
Trent Williams. This is the Trent Williams revenge game. This is the
Trent Williams. No, Trent Williams is gonna put somebody in the hospital.
Chase Young might have 2.5 sacks this week.
Oh yeah, easy.
I would not doubt it.
This is all of those guys.
I don't know who I talked to the other day. I said Trent Williams about to. I think it was my man Gary Blankenship. I said Trent Williams is about to come home and eat.
Yo,
he about to eat.
Let's keep it moving. New Orleans at Tampa. Tampa's favored by 2.5. I talked about Baker Mayfield earlier. Comeback player of the year, in my opinion. I think Tampa wins and secures the division at home this week.
I agree. 2.5. Yep.
I like Tampa.
Pittsburgh at Seattle. Seattle's favored by 3.5. Keep in mind, Tomlin never having a losing season. It's kind of on the line right now. They have to win this week in order to preserve a chance at a winning season. Vern, what do you think?
Steelers cover.
Steelers lose but cover?
I don't know if they. I don't know. I'm just taking the cover. I'm just taking the plus 3.5.
Fair. Will
Steelers.
All right.
I like the Steelers at home.
I got Seattle. Mason Rudolph.
I mean, my bad. I meant to say Seattle. I like Seattle at home.
Will like Seattle. Last week, Vern talked me out of taking Pittsburgh. I thought Pittsburgh would win that game.
No.
You did talk me out of it.
The exact text was, I want to take Pittsburgh. Talk me out of it. You didn't ask me my position on it. You didn't ask me.
I did, because you told me.
You did not. You told me.
You said they played.
Are y'all fighting about last week pick?
Yeah,
because then they won. I'm like, Eric, oh, you doing good? He was like, I was like, don't tell me such a pick. I did. I took Bengals -1. I was like, you're good.
Yo, I was flip-flopping on it because I'm like, damn, home underdogs, especially in divisional games, normally cover and outright win because it's a pride factor. But when he reminded me, yo, Mason Rudolph is starting, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take the Bengals, bro. Like, Mason Rudolph ain't got much. And then Mason Rudolph comes out and puts up the best performance of his career against the Bengals, and George Pickens can't be stopped. Now all of a sudden, George Pickens is prime Antonio Brown now.
Yeah, but this is okay. Real quick, I'm leaning Pittsburgh +3. The original talk me out of it. No, sir. Rudolph. Hey, I forgot to play. I will bump the total under. This is what I responded. I said, yeah, I would take the points because both QBs are boo-boo. Meaning I would take the points the underdog. I would take the points because both teams are boo-boo. That's what I told him. And what did he do?
I took the Bengals. I took the Bengals.
I said, oh, the Steelers are looking good. He's like, laugh my ass off. I said, hopefully you stuck with it. He said, nope. I said,
I took the Bengals. It didn't work out.
Like, oh, he hoping.
Yeah. It's all right, because this week you're not talking me out of it. I'm taking the Seahawks. Seahawks 3.5. I think the Seahawks win this game and they strengthen their playoff spot. Unfortunately for Tomlin, I think they lose, and then next week he's got to win to keep that streak alive of never having a losing season. Another game that I like a lot: Cincinnati at Kansas City. Kansas City favored by 7. I would work the line down, but based off this line alone, I'm taking Kansas City at home. These are playoff games for them now. So I think Mahomes and them, they got to show up, right? I'm assuming they got to show up.
Thinks that. I don't know. The Bengals quarterback situation is just terrible, though.
Yeah.
But
What do you like, Will?
Will's done.
Yeah, the Bengals don't have a quarterback at all, and I think Andy Reid is kind of feeling himself right now because I think there's some whispers that maybe Eric Bieniemy had more to do with that offense than was led on to believe to be, because they look flat all year. And I think he's going to try to right the wrongs that's been going on with this offense. I'm going with the Chiefs over Cincy all day.
Man, I'm taking the Bengals plus 6.5. They're not going to trap me again. I think everyone's waiting for the Chiefs to come around, and they're not going to come around. And you know they hate each other. You heard the Jamar Chase journey. It was like, oh, so what's good? Nothing really. It's not they got Jalen Ramsey. Like, you know, they hate each other.
Yeah, it is a rivalry. It's a rivalry.
Exactly. You know how it goes. To their mayor making comments. So I'm at the Bengals plus 6.5 here. Chiefs just not. They just don't got it, man.
Yeah, I think there's something missing from the Chiefs, but I also think that Cincinnati's.
That's where I think that's something that needs to be discussed. Why don't they have it?
Eric Bieniemy.
Well, I mean, Eric Bieniemy is one aspect of it, but
I think that's the biggest issue.
I don't know if that's the biggest issue, because I think if we went back at this season and look at the receiver play, if they make plays at the receiver position, we're not having the same discussion about Eric Bieniemy. If Kadarius Toney doesn't continue to make the mistakes that he makes, that's probably 2 more wins on their win-loss record.
Yeah.
If Valdez
you can do that with every team, though. You can do that with every team. Every team has somebody that has a drop, or like I could say last year when the Chargers played the Chiefs and there was an interception on the goal line where Gerald Everett gave up on the route and they took it 99 yards to the crib and won by 3.
Ooh. But
you know what I'm saying? So I mean, you can do that with every team. Has an opportunity to say if it wasn't for that one play. Correct. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can't give it to them.
We weren't debating if Gerald Everett stopping on the route was more important than the motivation of the offensive coordinator.
But what I'm saying is one play can change everything. You know what I'm saying?
But if Eric Bieniemy was there this year and Toney still has those type of mishaps and Valdez Scantling still drops that bomb that would have won him a game, would we have said, oh, that's Eric Bieniemy's fault? No, we would have said, no, the receivers need to step up and play better. We wouldn't have questioned the motivation.
That's exactly my point, though. It's not always on.
Go ahead, Vern.
Last year, they lost Tyreek Hill. Their offense slowed down just a little bit, but they were still pretty decent. Super Bowl. Eric Bieniemy leaves. They struggle. I mean, his receiving core last year wasn't like this great receiving core. I'm not sure because of the way that they coached them to be. Like, for example, let's say Eric Bieniemy is paying attention to detail, and every time they go into practice, they practice every single time Kadarius Toney, you check in, you line up, and every time and in that game, he checks in on time and lines up because of the coaching that Eric Bieniemy has over the offense, whatever the hell it is. That play doesn't even come into question. I don't really know to what extent his coaching, had an impact on the offense. But what I do know is that without him, they scored. They gave up more points to the Raiders defense than they scored. That has never happened. So this is beyond this. That's why I say I think it's a coaching thing, because when you have such a fundamental breakdown like that, it's more than just a player. It's concepts, it's schemes, everything.
I just think that they're so experienced at receiver that teams have found a way to just defend Mahomes. To me, the biggest mistake Mahomes made last week, granted the turnovers, played a major factor. Mahomes would not give up on a play. He would continue to scramble around as opposed to just throw the ball away and move on.
Oh, like Caleb Williams. That's why I don't think he.
Scramble. And even to the point where the broadcast team I mentioned, he's gassed. He is tired already because he is running around for 7-8 seconds trying to keep a play alive. Throw the ball away and move on. He's got to learn to just move on to the next play, leave it alone. The guy ain't get open, he ain't get open. But I still think Bieniemy's impact, of course, is felt. We all agree that Bieniemy deserved more credit for what he did for that team. But what we're having this discussion because the Chiefs are not going to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. If Kadarius Toney doesn't have 2 drops open tonight, they beat the Detroit Lions, no questions asked. They move on. If Valdez-Scantling doesn't drop a pass on Monday Night Football, they win that game, no questions asked. If Kadarius Toney lines up correctly, they win that game, no questions asked. Now, instead of a team that got 10 wins, we're talking about a team that has 13 wins and is, again, the number 1 seed, and nobody's questioning the impact of Eric Bieniemy as a motivational coach.
Mistakes, mental mistakes, all those kind of things come down to coaching as well. Like how you practice, how you coach. For example, if I have a coach and it's telling me every single day, every time you go on the field,
yeah, but catches aren't mental mistakes. That's just not executing.
But that's
mental mistake is Kadarius Toney.
But what I'm saying, how you practice can make a difference on how you remember. People say, "Oh, Eric Bieniemy's hard on us," or remember that big story that he wrote. So maybe him being harder may help them execute, right? Because remember, in the NFL, these games really come down to 1 or 2 drives, 1 or 2 plays. And when you're talking about getting that extra rep or learning or teaching a particular player or position group to catch the ball a certain way or to run around a certain way, in the grand scheme of things, as a casual fan, we don't notice it. But when it comes down to the coaching and how small the margins for error are, the way that he was going about running or installing his offense could be the difference in, hey, somebody not checking in on time, somebody not catching the ball a particular way or a certain way. But that's where the practice reps and things come in and the discipline comes in. Kadarius Toney is an undisciplined player.
That's a fact. So
when you have a coach like EB, which from my understanding, which what we hear, is paid attention to detail and he's all about discipline, that Kadarius Toney bullshit might not have been as prevalent this year. Either
maybe
Eric Bieniemy would say you're not in the offense at all to make mistakes, or if you are, you're going to do it and you're going to do it this way. But maybe Andy Reid has too much of a release and he's allowing Kadarius Toney. Like I'm saying, we don't know to what it's a right. Funny issue going on right now. They got
right. There's a lot of things going on with that team. Yeah. I don't know, man. I like EB. I just think that this is a situation where they're making mistakes. The league obviously always catches up. Every team it happens. The league starts to catch up to you. The league finds ways to slow you down. You're never going to stay at the top of the mountain forever. That's what makes the NFL so interesting. They've got to figure some things out moving forward. But, we'll see if they can bounce back this week. The last game of the weekend, Green Bay at Minnesota. Minnesota's favored by 1. I like Green Bay. That's the Sunday night game. Both teams still have a lot to play for as well. Again, I like Green Bay in that matchup
as well.
Vern got Green Bay. Will, who you got?
I'm looking at my sheet right now. I don't even think wait, who is it?
Green Bay at Minnesota on Sunday night.
At Minnesota?
Yep.
I got Green Bay. I don't really like what I'm seeing from the Vikings right now.
They switch quarterbacks again.
Yeah, that's the biggest factor. I'm going back to the Pack.
I have a question. Are bona fide number 1 receivers outside of Tyreek, are they overvalued? Because, and the reason why I ask this question is because when Burrow was having the struggles, Chase didn't really do much, offense was kind of dragging. Jefferson went down with the Vikings, and they went like on a 4-game winning streak. So
are you meaning like on a real football level or fantasy football level? Like you mean real football?
From an impact on winning to the team, like does having like a number 1 bona fide receiver, does that put you over the top, right? Or is it like, okay, you just need pieces that work well together? Whether that's, okay, I got someone that's fast, I got a route runner, I got a tight end, or I got a receiving running back, a tight end, and I got a big body receiver, because to me, how could Jefferson go out and they go on a winning streak with subpar quarterback start? Kirk Cousins was okay, and then you have Jamar Chase who didn't really do much in the absence of Joe Burrow. I'm just trying to figure out, is the bona fide number one receiver, is that person as valuable to the game as we see? He had 10 catches for 145 yards and a touchdown. Okay, fine. But if he wasn't there, are those numbers spread out through other receivers and maybe even in a more productive manner or a more efficient manner?
I think, if I can jump in there, E.
Go ahead,
I think personally,
we're gonna end off on this topic too. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's more based on the structure of the rest of your team and what you can afford. You know what I mean? Like if the rest of your, like, say you got a standout defense, then you can afford to maybe lack in certain areas on offense. So I think really it's based on how your team is built. Now, do you want a number one receiver like a ace that's gonna take the top off of defenses? Of course you do. You know what I'm saying? It's a passing league. Like where before, like 15 years ago, I think you would have maybe wanted to build your defense your team around your linebackers and your corners. Today, you gotta have that number one guy, I think, but you still have to have that defense to support the offense. I mean, all the scoring is beneficiary to the offense now. Like, you can't touch anybody on defense anymore, but you still gotta have. If your offense has that dude that's a beast, you want that dude on defense that can line up against him and check him. You know what I'm saying? You want a Sauce Gardner. You know what I mean? And that's just the newest guy. You want a Champ Bailey. You want a Charles Woodson. You want you know what I'm saying? Like all the dudes that in the past you could just put them against their number one and call it a day. If they win on a route or two, then they win just because they're just as good. But I don't think it's a position that should be ignored, and I think it's very, very important at this position at this point still in this game the way we still play it.
I think having a number one receiver is still probably the most important thing you can have right now outside of the quarterback position. I think that what happens is in the case of like a Justin Jefferson, when you have inexperienced quarterbacks and you give them a big name receiver, sometimes they force the ball, they force to play that way. When you take that guy out the mix and they actually have to go through their progressions and reads, I think that's when you start to see more balance. And the same thing with play calling. I think sometimes some of these offensive coordinators get lazy in calling plays for that number one guy, as opposed to, hey, the defense been giving us this in the flats all day. So why are we just forcing this to the number one receiver when we can just kill them underneath? Sometimes you got to take that guy out of there, I think, for you to open up the whole playbook. But I think when you have more experienced quarterbacks, you want to have a number one receiver because that's when you really see the best of them. For as great as Brady was, he was at his best with Randy Moss, right? For as good as Patrick Mahomes is, we know he was at his best when he had Tyreek Hill. So you want to give guys, I think when it's a high level quarterback, you still want to give him the A1 guy that can be his third down guy, the guy that he can make big plays with. But that more talented quarterback is still going to go through all his progressions. With some of these younger guys, they get locked in on one guy and they only want to throw there. And then they look better, I think, when you take that guy out the mix and it forces them to just go through the whole playbook.
That makes sense. Yeah, Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I think, and same thing we talked about with Stephon Diggs a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes Josh Allen becomes too reliant on just throwing to Stephon Diggs. But when he started to open it up a little bit more, and you see Gabe Davis has had some big weeks the last couple of weeks, their offenses look better now that they have more run balance, now that they have more distribution of the passes as opposed to everything going to Diggs. So there's still an important position. Fellas, let's go around the horn. Let's wrap up. Will Gordon, give me your final thought.
Hey, man. You know what it is. I love getting with my brothers every every weekend, every Friday. It's a privilege to be with you, E, and the counselor V. Us having our it feels more like fellowship than sports talk every weekend. I don't know if y'all feel the same vibe or whatever, but you know what I mean. I'm getting with my bros, and now we about to enter 2024. How long we been rocking, Eric? Since
Solid 2 years.
2021.
Yeah, solid. Yeah, going into our 3rd year.
Yeah, man, we've been getting it going, and it's always a vibe. It's always a vibe. It's never like work or nothing like that. It's always a vibe. And with this year adding the counselors to the team, I'm loving it. You know what I'm saying? Great to be with you, counselor. And I just appreciate you, bros, man. 2024 is right on the doors. We about to knock that thing down and turn it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
That's
sir,
what it's
bro.
going to be, man. That's
Give
what
me
it's
your
going
final
to be.
thought, Vern.
I love you, bros, man.
We love you too, bro.
Happy New Year to everyone. But it's going to be an especially great New Year for me and my Washington Commanders. It's going to be the first year of the non-Dan Snyder era, and I'm happy about it. This is the last year that Dan Snyder had anything to do with Washington Commanders. So, as a token and as a way out and as a breath of fresh air, the 49ers are going to beat the shit out of us and then just let us know that the new regime is coming in. So, before the new year comes, but if you got any money, if you don't have money, find someone, put it on, and they will definitely bring it back to you. As many fold as you can. Just hammer that money, just hammer the number, smack it up and down. I'm telling you, I don't care if the number gets to 21. Play it, baby. It is over. All right, y'all.
See, that's how you know. Hey, look, that's how you know this motherfucker make money like shit. Cause he came on and just straight shitted on my. I was trying to be like sincere and shit, and he just came on. Fuck everybody. Nah.
Nah, not the.
That's how you know.
Money.
That's how you know he make that bread.
Listen, in the words of Vern, if you ain't got no money, return them Christmas gifts. Bet on the 49ers. you can make some money and then rebuy the
That's
gifts.
how you know he got bread.
You can rebuy the gifts at a discount because they're gonna be on sale now that the Christmas is over.
Right.
So you're good. But now I want to say, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys, man. Your commitment every Friday night, as Will mentioned, man. I enjoy, chopping it up with you guys. We text throughout the week, we talk throughout the week, but then to get on live and really talk shit back and forth. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to rock with me every Friday night. Shout out to the supporters, man. As you guys see every week, people are logging in 2 hours early, man, sending comments, sending questions in. And this ain't even everybody, because there's certain people that normally comment that ain't even been in today. So we look forward to seeing you guys. I hope everyone has a happy and healthy new year, man. And till next Friday, we'll see you guys in 2024. You guys be safe. But for my brothers, Vernon Brownlee, for Will Gordon, I am Eric Sanchez. We are the opinionated ones, and we will see you guys next Friday. Happy New Year.
See you later.